WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. Tasting, let's say rare and exotic whiskey again. I have something from Jura. Jura, single malt Scotch whiskey, red wine cask finish, Cask Edition. Always established 1810. Now, I have not had very many Juras in my life and not very many Juras in front of the camera, even less. There might be a reason for that. One of the reasons is the name White and Mackay. They also own Dalmore, for example, and they love putting artificial coloring into their products. And they love filling up their products at less than 46%. So chill filtered, added color. Yay, not a very good transparency. Even when it says red wine cask, what type of red wine? We don't know. What country did the cask come from? We don't know. What was the name of the vineyard? We will never know. And so they are not the most transparent, to be very honest, with everything they're doing there. At least it doesn't feel like it to me. All right, so I'm going to compare it to this. This is the Tosa Mara. This was a travel exclusive a couple of years ago. I bought it for €37.90 back then. It's a 1 liter bottle. I just wanted to try something from Jura. Never had anything before and just went out there and bought it. Now this here, this here is Whiskybase 166963, 40%, about 38 euros. This, on the other hand, is Whiskybase number 41072. So we're missing a whole 100,000 bottles in between there. And this is a 1 liter bottle, and this was actually matured in bourbon, sherry, French oak, and port pipes, 42%. And as I said, I paid €37.90. So now we're going to compare the two of these. But before I do, a tiny little brief information here about the distillery. Now, Jura, if you're here, Islay over here is Jura. Most of the people don't even have a direct possibility with the ferry to go there. First of all, they go to Islay. From Islay, they have to go up to Jura. There is some type of air possibility with a plane to get there once a day, more or less, if the weather lets you happen. It's not a very big island. There's like 300 people that live there, about 5,000 deer. We're talking here, the size of it is about 11 kilometers wide. Okay, for my American friends, 7 miles, and it's about 30 miles for my European friends, 48 kilometers long. One road, one pub, one distillery. So, now the distillery was actually founded in 1810 by the Campbellton of Jura family. And they did it basically till 1853. So 43 years of operation. And then it basically more or less fell into what can we say? It was actually fell into despair. But then around 1848, it was restored. Yay! So about 26 years later, it was once again in disuse, and then it was actually dismantled. So they got rid of all the copper. There was nothing left, the building. All right. So then it took about 50 more years, 1950s, World War II is over. We have 2 local estate owners. One is Robin Fletcher, and the other one is Tony Riley Smith. How can we revive the local economy? We have a pub, we have a road, we need a distillery. And so they contacted a beer brewer, and together with them, they actually rebuilt the distillery and put it back up into use. And so it's a little bit difficult to get the products there. It's a little bit difficult to get the products out of there, and so on. So White & Mackay has been with the company now since 1995. White & Mackay was bought then in 2014 by the Philippine company called Emperador Distillers, and so they have a little bit of something going on. Now, what is really interesting is I went to the website. I went to eurawhiskey.com, and the first thing it asked me was, hey, what's my location? I'm in Germany, so I put German, and everything was in German. And I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. And then I went to the whiskeys, and I was like, all right, let's take a look at all the whiskeys we have here. We have the Signature series, we have the Journey, we have the 10-year-old, we have the 12-year-old, we have the 12-year-old Sherry cask. Wait a second, that wasn't in my German site. And then what I did is I went to the English version of it, and they had way more whiskeys. So this isn't even on the German website, which really made me angry. I was like, hey, that's a kind of crappy way to do things here for us. And so there's no information whatsoever about that. Which is, I kind of like, Well, why? Why would you actually not have stuff on the page if it's in the country? Now, of course, you could say, hey, that wasn't meant for Germany and so on, but there's all these retailers that have it anyways. All right. So let's nose these. Oh, first of all, let's look at the color here. So this is the red wine cask. Do you see anything red in it? Maybe. This is the then the port and the sherry and the French oak. They're almost the same. Why? Because we add artificial coloring. I'm so sorry. So on the nose, I get a light caramel moment, an artificial caramel moment. Can we actually smell artificial coloring? Maybe. I don't get much wood. I don't get much maltiness. I do not get much red wine moments, not much berries. This is not really something that I can say, hey, this is really hitting me with a lot of aroma. So the official tasting notes say sultanas, creamy caramel, ooh, caramel, black forest fruits, and a hint of heather honey. Now, I've been to the Black Forest, and there's not that many fruits there. They have berries, but I'm not really sure about the fruits. All right, so, what are Black Forest fruits? All right, let's try this. 40%, 38 euros, red wine cask finish. I kind of like the design, I must admit. All right, cheers. Hmm. I do get a tiny little bit of red berries, and then the finish is like gone. Literally, there's like white noise in my mouth, and then it's like, oh wait a second, those red berries come back slowly. It's interesting. It happened twice already. Now, it's the official tasting notes are raspberries, strawberries, creamy vanilla, and cinnamon spice. For 40%, it is somewhat hot. There's a nice supporting character of the alcohol here. So, initially matured in American white oak, as bourbon barrels finished in hand-selected European red wine casks to deliver perfect balance of rich berry flavors. Alcohol ABV 40%. Oh, I'm sorry. I do know one of the countries. That's not a country. I know one of the continents where the red wine was produced. Europe. At least it's not American red wine. It's not South American. It's not South Africa. It's not Asian. It's European. Yay. All right. Um, Now, if I had tasted this as one of the very first whiskeys in my whiskey career, I would have went, "Oh, that's interesting. I think I like that." It's not too hot. It's not too sweet. It's not bitter. There's a little bit of a red wine moment going on there, and it's a lot of caramel, wherever that comes from. Um, it's okay. This is a C whiskey. Value for money, for me, it's more of a C minus. Now, there is a little bit of acidity in here. If I go back the second time, the middle of the palate is really a little bit of acidity. Might come from the red wine cask, might just come from the distillate itself. So, this isn't really a whiskey I would recommend to a intermediate or a expert whiskey drinker, but this might actually be something where I go, hey, if you're brand new to the game, why not? Now, personally, I think the 38 euros is a little bit overpriced for what it offers. I think I would go for the Glenfiddich 15 Solera instead. Now, I know it's not a red wine cask finish, but hey, I think it's still something that has an age statement, that has a beautiful, beautiful mouthfeel as well as a great taste. Question of the day: what is your favorite red wine finished or full maturation whiskey? What is it going to be? I really was thinking about this for a moment, and I really don't know. There's nothing that automatically pops to my brain where I go, oh, that was the best one ever. Just a tiny little thing over here with the Toras Mara. Hmm. Much earthier, much hotter, even though it's only 42%. And there's a little bit of a fight going on here with the sherry, the port, and maybe even the French oak here. If I had to choose between the two every day of the week, I think it would be the Jura red wine cask finish. It's not bad, but it's not good. So, but I do want to have more of a wow experience with whiskeys. And maybe I have two more that I'm going to do here. I have the French oak. Don't know if it's better or worse. And I actually have the Travel Retail here, the 12-year-old, the Bay. So we're going to see what happens here, if this is actually something I can recommend or not. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, sharing even on social media, and telling others about this crazy guy over here in Europe tasting whiskey a lot. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.